This is not a photo op for me. Listen, the training says we're supposed to start and end the meetings on time, so we're supposed to start at 10. According to my watch, it's 10:02, so we're going to get started. I'm Marty Vigdor. I'm the AG for Region 7, which is Putnam County, and it's my privilege to welcome you all for this dedication ceremony. I'm going to ask our governor nominee, Penny Byron, to lead us in the pledge, please.
Right.
And if anybody hasn't realized, she's up yonder. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And past District Governor Rollo Ross, please lead us in prayer.
O God in heaven, bless this gathering of the Rotarians, people who are committed to service above self. We come here today to honor the work of the people of Putnam Community Hospital. We are committed to their health and wealth, and we are very thrilled that we were asked to participate. May God bless us all and keep us healthy. Amen.
Amen.
And Vice President of Development for Putnam Hospital, Jeff Kellogg.
Thank you, Marty. I was asked just to say a few words. You know, I joined Mahopac Rotary, Lake Mahopac Rotary, back in 1976. So I know a lot about what Rotary's done for our community and for our hospital. This hospital was first built in 1964, and many Rotarians were involved in the fundraising that went on with this. I'm not going to try and embarrass anyone that was here back in '64, but the hospital at that time cost to build $2.5 million. And the community came together and raised almost half of that. And you think about what it costs to run a hospital today or to buy a piece of equipment today. We're in the process of adding 3 new operating rooms, and that's going to cost over twice as much as the original hospital cost back in 1964. But through the years, the Rotary clubs have been so involved, and the community members that have been, you know, pipe in with some stories. But one of the things that comes to my mind is when we used to have the fair out in what we still call the fairgrounds, and I know there are a lot of people who were involved in that fair for almost 40 years. And one of the booths, as I recall at the time, was manned by the 4 Rotary clubs. Putnam Valley was the 5th Putnam club, but it never really was that much involved on this side of the county. And I remember my dad doing, he brought a bottle to that booth, a bottle of booze, and every Rotarian donated a bottle of booze, and then you stood there and you sold drinks. And it was one of the most popular and biggest fundraisers of the fair. So, and I've read some board minutes of back then in those days, and it was so much a part of the board meetings was the community involvement and the fair and what members of the community were doing to help out the hospital. It's just been the tradition over the years. And you know, when we've had our largest campaign, when we raised over $16 million just a few years ago, the Rotary clubs all stepped up to the plate and were part of it, and we've got great board members and foundation board members, and gee, it's just been they just meld together, the hospital and the community. I've been involved now with the hospital for over 25 years, and with Rotary, I didn't do the math, it's over 40 years, I'm sure, Marty. There's a lot of people just like me, and you know, it's just been great. So I want to thank everybody for getting involved, and I think that's a very nice compliment to the Rotary and to our community. And of course, the community is Rotary, and Rotary is community, and the hospital is community, and it's we're all together in this. So just thank you. Thanks for coming out, and appreciate it.
Jeff, I remember us grilling more hamburgers here. Right. We grilled lots and lots of hamburgers.
All down on that fairground, that's right, all volunteer stuff, yeah.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I should have remembered my father, who was a member of the staff here when he moved up from New York City at the time that it was just a little tiny room that they called the hospital.
Yeah.
And I remember that he was a guy who was a great Rotarian. And one of his traits was he did house calls and he went out to see patients. And as he walked in the room, the person would be bleeding all over the place, and my dad would say, "I'm doing a raffle for the Rotary Club. Or I take care of you. How many tickets will you want to buy?" And I explained to him that you don't do that when a guy is dying on the floor. But he kept it up anyway.
And actually, the man who's responsible for orchestrating today's event is not me. It's my predecessor, Greg Amato, who's the past AG. And Greg,
Thank you, Marty. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here, and I'm really appreciative of the hospital giving us this premier spot for Rotary. Jeff led us pretty much from the start of Putnam Community Hospital in 1964 up to today. But prior to that, this happens to be about the 75th anniversary of hospital services being provided to this side of Putnam County. Back in 1928, there were a bunch of serious accidents down in Lake Mahopac, and Dr. Fisher sent a letter to Lake Mahopac Weekly suggesting and urging that we have a hospital in our community. The following year, Willie Beerman, Mahopac businessman, started a committee to create a hospital in Lake Mahopac. It was done. The first secretary-treasurer of the committee was a gentleman by the name of Carl Kellogg. Gramps to you. And in 1930, the Mahopac Emergency Room received its charter. That charter is still in existence. You can see it at the Town of Carmel Historical Society. And Miss Elizabeth Hickson was the first RN, and she was put in charge of the hospital with Dr. Stacy. She got married a short time later, and Heather Alexander is made chief of the hospital. We started in one room at the original Mahopac Volunteer Fire Department. 3 medical beds were donated with the sheets, pillows, and accessories, and other equipment was donated and purchased as well with funds the committee collected. And that was the start of our hospital. With Rotary's involvement, the original, about a third of the original directors and officers of the Mahopac Hospital were Rotarians. John Dane, Les Dodge, Edward Dwyer, Rocco Felice, Dr. John Jenkins, Carl Kellogg, and William Poland. They all became Rotarians a couple years later when the Lake Mahopac Carmel Rotary Club was formed. When the new Putnam Motor, when the Putnam Community Hospital opened up over here, there was a snack bar right where the lobby is now, the hallway going down to the elevators, I believe. And one night a week, Rotarians manned, and man is the proper word, it's politically correct because it was an all-boys group, no girls allowed at that time. It changed since then, but one night a week, the Rotarians would cover that snack bar. And for me, it's an honor to be here. My first volunteering was done at the Forest House back in 1959 or 60 when they were having a notification meeting for Putnam Hospital Center. And my mother volunteered me to be a busboy. So I volunteered, but it wasn't voluntarily, but I enjoyed it. I never forgot the experience, and the hospital's come so far. And I wish Alan Schwartz and Al Triciano could have been here today because they're just finishing Al just finished his 50th year in Rotary. Now Schwartz is just entering his 50th year of Rotary and supporting Putnam Hospital. So once again, thank you for all the services you provide to the community and all the help that you've given us. That your staff is simply terrific. And thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
and